Good evening, race fans, and welcome to the South Boston Speedway, where tonight the North-South Racing League Street Stock Series, presented by Sandi Paws Rescue, rolls into town for week number 5. And Sandi Paws Rescue, our title sponsors, based out of Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. And Sandi Paws is a 100% volunteer-run foster home-based animal rescue dedicated to saving the lives of abused, neglected, and unwanted dogs and cats. They provide safe shelter, medical care, rehabilitation, and loving forever homes for the animals in need. Their mission? Well, it's simple: to protect the quality of life and improve the well-being of abused, neglected, and unwanted companion animals. If you're interested in becoming a foster home or adopting, you can head over to their website at sandipaws.org. Email them at sandipawsrescue@gmail.com. Because if you love racing and you love animals, you can help the NSRL and join in supporting an organization that truly is making a difference, one paw at a time. We'd also like to thank RC2 Promotions and RC2 Graphic Solutions. Check them out, as they are a great company to make your next event, league, anything look fantastic with all their graphic designs. Wizards Designs, the proud sponsor of our awards here at the NSRL, making our championship trophies for the last 4 years. Wizards Design can make your dream a reality. Austin Designs, Zoofab Garage. If you need your car to get hooked up faster or even a tune-up, Zoofab Garage is the place to go. That's where all the NSRL street stocks go to become faster. J&G Hardwood Flooring and Mad Plowing. Well, Kelly, we're here at the home of the South Boston Speedway, one of my favorite racetracks, and this is probably one of the biggest wild card races that we are going to see this season as we head into race number 5.
Yeah, this one should prove to be a fun one. We're probably going to have a few lines available to these drivers, both that bottom side and the middle. And if anything goes wrong, there's not a lot of places to go here at South Boston. You don't really have an infield grass to kind of slide down. You've just got a wall right there. So you are locked into this corridor and you have to try to find your way through if anything goes wrong in front of you.
And already after tonight, 5 races into this 10-race season for our NSRL Sandi Paws Street Stocks. As you look at tonight, 50 miles is the distance. They've had 9 races here, 4 of them with the street stocks. The most wins here is Jared Apel, and when he was racing here, Bryan Hacker has the track record with a 16.039. And if you were with us last week, you know Bryan unofficially won the race, but that got taken away, giving Ryan Johnson the race win, and he will take over the points lead after last week. Bryan slides back to that number 2 spot. Scott Austin with a great season so far, sitting 11th. Look how tight that points is, Kelly. After last week's North Wilkesboro race, only 19 points separating your top 5.
Yeah, this is still anyone's championship here as we cross the halfway point, and a few drivers here looking to maybe make a move here to try to get themselves up and take over that lead spot. We've got a few drivers here on track for qualifying. Josh Cole, the first to set a time with a 15.985. And we'll see what a few of these other drivers are able to do. Gary Eschen moves up to the top of the board with a 15.916. We saw pretty much everyone beat the track record here in practice, so it is already fallen here in qualifying. We're just going to see how much it's going to be broken by. And right now it's Travis Hoefler with a 15.889.
Yeah, a very, very fast lap. Chad Macleod going to go 6 quick overall right now. Dante Curtis rolling out, and he'll slide down the backstretch. So Ryan Johnson, last week's winner, up on the clock. He is sitting 8th currently after lap number 1. He'll have to do that dreaded shotgun roll. He'll start at the tail end of the field here tonight, but Ryan Johnson going to come by, try to get those other important qualifying points, and he will jump to 6th spot overall after his qualifying attempts. So Sukup with a new track record sitting there up at the top with a 15.88 as Dante Curtis will roll down here, and he'll come across the line 9th quick on lap number 1. We'll see what the DCD-03 can do as he crosses the line, and he will go second quick with a 15.91 for Dante Curtis.
Yeah, we got a few other drivers here on track. The 55 of Scott Negus is on the track. See what he's going to be able to do on his first lap. And it is a fairly slow lap from him, 16.420, likely just getting his tires up to temperature. Let's see now as he comes out of turn 4. What is he going to do? Is he going to get himself into that top 8? It is not going to be enough, 16.039. As we were talking, though, Jeff Bergener goes up second fastest with a 15.893, so second driver to break into those 15.8s, but still not quite enough to catch up to Travis Hoefler.
Next up on the racetrack out of Illinois is the finish line auto as Brandon Elvis goes quick time with a new track record, 15.84 for the number 4 as the number 5 will roll here off of turn number 4, looking to come up here. Scott was 16th quick on lap number 1. Lap number 2 is 4th quick for Scott Austin.
And now we got Dylan Connor, a driver that has taken many fast time awards. Let's see what he's going to be able to do on his first lap here. Looks like he's running high up on the racetrack, so he's just trying to get some temperature in the tires. Now he's going to rifle it down there through turns 4 and get as fast of a speed into 1 as he can possibly manage. Now coming off of turn 2, see what that 90 can do. Is he going to go to the top of the board? We've seen him there a few times here this season. Coming off of 4, gets loose, so that may be it for the 90 of Dylan Connor. Where is he going to slot in? 14th, so that little mistake off of turn 4 is going to cost Dylan Connor big.
And Bryan Hacker going to go 10th quick over on the Austin Designs number 2. So Brandon Elvis will grab that new track record in the Al Speed Shop Fast Time Award here tonight. Brandon Elvis in car number 4 with a time of 15.84. And looks like Odegaard, he's got about 45 seconds, Kelly, which is enough time if he's able to get aboard that number 60 car.
Yeah, it does not look like he is going to be making an attempt here at qualifying tonight. So this will set our field. We've got Brandon Elvis, Travis Sukup, Jeff Bergener, Scott Austin, Adam Gable, Dante Curtis, Gary Eschen, and Dustin Shepard going into the top 8 redraw.
So it's going to be a good redraw coming up here momentarily as we get ready to go with that. We have a special guest in there. Travis Hoefler will have to go. I don't know if Travis is in the building tonight. It looks like he is. He'll have to start at the end of the field. And Ryan Johnson, like what he said with that shotgun roll. So, Kelly, just like that, we are done with Al Speed Shop qualifying. And it is Brandon Elvis picking up that win. Is now we will head into our favorite time of the night, the dreaded redraw. And tonight, it is being brought to us by J&D Farms. And, Kelly, don't go Googling it. J&D Farms is some crazy redneck that wanted to see his name and have us talk about him right here on the Turn 3 Racing Network for the North-South Racing League. And, well, whether it's the number 8 or the pole, you got to thank J&D Farms, supporting racing, supporting the show, and official legend of the North-South Racing League. As we get ready to go with this portion of tonight's broadcast, we'll bring in our pit road reporter that's going to have some heavy lifting questions down there for our racers, Mr. Robbie Clavey. And Robbie, normally we see you behind the wheel, but not tonight.
No, I mean, even when I'm there, I don't know if I'm quite behind the wheel, but I decided to join you guys tonight.
Well, we're glad to have you along here as we are going to bring in the driver that picked up the Al Speed Shop Fast Time Award, Mr. Brandon Elvis. And, man, a blistering time here at South Boston, but making it into the J&D Farms top 8 redraw. You will have the pick of the litter 1 through 8, but first, Robbie has our hot seat question of the night.
First off, Brandon, congratulations on hauling the most ass to get that L Speed Shop Award for Fast Time.
Thank you.
But we want to ask you, you're leading the race. You get a caution that creates a green-white checkered. Who is the driver you do not want to see restarting behind you on that green-white checkered?
I'll be honest with you. I mean, I got to pick one because there's a number of them. But it's my number one. I'd have to say is probably like Dylan Connor. I mean, I think he's proven that he can just drive through the field, face adversity several times in the last 3 or 4 races that I've ran. So I know he'll go for the win. And I've had a lot of hard fought battles with him. So he'd probably be the one I don't want to see behind me.
Fair enough.
All right. Well, Brandon, 1 through 8. What number would you like to draw out of the hat here tonight and find out where you're going to be starting for tonight's feature event?
Let's do a 6.
Number 6. Well, you set the fast time here in qualifying, and that hopefully is a good omen. You're going to have to start P8 tonight. Can you get it? Can you get it done from the outside of row number 4? And you got to thank J&D Farms for that, by the way. It has nothing to do with Kelly, myself, or Robbie.
Oh, that's okay, man. No, I think that's a cool little aspect y'all do with the redraw, and makes it a lot of fun. Yeah, I mean, I think I can get it done. Just got to save that right rear tire and survival of the fittest. Because I mean, if there's wrecks, there's a chance you're going to be in one. So just kind of hopefully getting out towards the front and kind of setting yourself up in position and staying away from the trouble and just making sure there at the end, I think we'll be okay.
All right, well, we wish you the best of luck. Congratulations on that fast time award, and we hopefully will be talking to you here at the end of 125 laps.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, Kelly, you caught up with our second qualifier, rookie this season, the driver of that number 45.
Yeah, catching up now with Travis Sukup. And Travis, we have a special guest with us here on pit road for the hot seat question of the night. Robbie, you got a question for this guy?
I do. So Travis, I know you're relatively new with us here, but if you could change one rule that the NSRL has in their rule book, what would that be and why?
Open setup.
Fair enough. Quick and to the
right.
point, I liked it.
All right, guy that likes to tinker with his car. Well, we have got a number of options for you here tonight. The only thing off the board right now is the number 6. And good news for you, the pole and really front row is still out there. What would you like tonight?
What was left to pick?
Everything other than number 6.
I'll take 7.
It'll take 7. 7 coming off the board. It's going to be on the inside line, but it is going to be in the second row. P3 for you here tonight. Think you can get it done from that spot?
We'll do our best.
All right. Well, Travis, good luck to you. Hopefully we'll be talking to you a little bit later on tonight.
All right, thank you.
So Travis Sukup pulls number 3 out, so he'll be starting from the inside of row 2, Al.
Absolutely. Now we're going to catch up with the driver of that 21, the Chrome Can, as I like to call it, Mr. Jeff Bergner, back in the J&D Farms Top 8 redraw. Good qualifying lap there. But before we get to the hard question, Robbie Clevey is with us here tonight on pit road, and he's got our hot seat question of the night.
All right, Jeff.
All right,
Caution
what do we
comes
got?
out. Caution comes out. You're leading the race. You got to do a green-white checker. Who is the driver in the league that you do not want to see in your mirror?
All of them, because they're all better than I am.
Humble guy.
I'm more a realist. I've run out of town a lot of times, so it's pretty easy to call.
All right, Jeff. The numbers 6 and 7 have been picked so far. The good news is the front row is still available. You can choose any number but 6 or 7.
I guess we'll have to go with number 1.
Number 1. Well, it's on the front row, but it's going to be outside front row. And I don't think that's too bad here. Usually we see 2 lines of racing here. Good luck here for starting second tonight.
Well, thank you. You guys have a great night.
All right, Jeff Bergner going to start off in P number 2. Up next, Kelly, as we got to get moving, is Scott Austin with car number 5.
Yeah, catch it. Oh, get a little mixed up here in the booth, but we got things sorted now. We got Scott Austin here, and Scott, before I ask you any questions, Robbie's actually got a question here for you.
All right, Scott. I'm here to drink beer and ask questions, and I'm all out of beer. So, if you had to change one rule in the NSRL rule book, what would it be?
Ooh, that's tough. I'd say the 40% fuel in a street stock race.
That's a popular choice.
All right, you wanting to go longer or go shorter?
I'd like to go longer. I've never seen us having to pit for fuel at a local short track, so it does. It adds some depth to the race, but kind of much like the cup stuff is getting these days, it's a little bit gimmicky. But like I said, it keeps things interesting. So I can give or take it, but if I had to pick, that would be the one.
All right, well, let's ask you the real important question now. We've got numbers 2, 3, 4, 5, and 8. Second place has been taken, but the poll is still available. What would you like?
5 is definitely going to take the 5.
All right, 5 takes the 5, and he's going to get number 4. So starting outside of row 2 seems like a good spot for you to be starting here tonight.
That's a lot better than we've been starting lately, and we'll see if if that second group comes in. It's hot and slick out there, so you'll probably see some frustrated drivers, some hard to pass racing. So should be in for a good show.
All right, well, good luck to you, Scott, and hopefully we'll be talking to you a little later on tonight.
Thanks, you guys. We'll see you.
All right, time is ticking down. Al, let's quickly roll through these last 4 drivers.
Yeah, we'll get here is Adam Gable, qualified 5th overall, going to be our 5th driver to choose. Adam, we'll get the choosing out of the way first. You can choose 2, 3, 4, or 8. Those are the numbers left available to choose from. What number would you like?
3.
3. Bad news. Inside row number 4 for the 91. But you made it in the J&D Farms top 8 redraw. A good start to the night.
Yeah, it's a good start for the night. Hopefully we can do something with it.
All right, before you run off, Robbie's got a hot seat question of the night for you.
You're leading the race. Caution comes out with green, white, checkered. Who do you not want to see in your mirror?
Hacker.
See, that's how it works. Quick and simple.
All right, Adam. Best of luck here tonight to you. Hopefully we're talking to you at the end of 125 laps.
Yeah, hopefully.
Adam Gable will roll off. P number 7. Kelly is up next. You are going to talk to our friend Gary Eschen.
Yeah, here now with Gary Eschen. Gary, let's get the real important question out of the way.
Dante, my bad.
Oh, sorry, we had a little bit of a mix-up here. Dante, you're up next. Al gave me the wrong number here, but let's see. We've got the real important question here: 2, 4, or 8. The poll is still out there.
Give me the faux for faux.
The
number
foe is going to be number 5. So still not a bad starting spot for you, at least on the inside. How are you liking that?
At least we made the redraw. We'll see how it goes.
All right, well, I don't know if we're going to have much time here, Robbie, if you want to ask your question or quickly move along.
You can change one rule in the NSRL, Dante. What is it?
Go to the back after winning a race.
I knew that was going to be your answer.
All right, well, now Al, I think, is going to caught up with Gary Eschen.
Yeah, now it's Gary's turn as Kelly was trying to leapfrog you up there. Gary, the poll...
You gave me him.
You tried leapfrogging him. Don't point fingers. Hey, Gary, the poll is still available out there. You can choose the 2 or the 8. Whatever you don't choose is what Dustin Shepard's going to get. What number would you like?
Let's go number 2.
And that will be the poll for the 23. And sporting some new colors tonight is Gary Eschen, and going to start this lead us to the green flag.
Sounds good.
All right. Robbie, you got like 30 seconds to ask your question.
Gary, you're leading the race. Caution leads to a green, white, checkered. Who do you not want to see behind you in your mirror to restart that race?
Man, that's a good question. Depends on if they're going to race me clean or get wrecked. So I could have multiple answers for that one. But I'd have to say probably Bryan Hacker or Dante Curtis.
We definitely know that those are fast drivers. Gary, good luck here tonight, buddy.
Thank you.
All right, we'll talk to Dustin Shepard real quick. Dustin, you got the pick of the littered, and that means you're going to start outside row number 3, but that means you're moving up a couple spots from where you qualified. Robbie's got a quick question for you.
All right.
Green, white, checkered. You're leading the race. Who do you not want to see restarting behind you in your mirror?
Bryan Hacker.
All right, Robbie must be back to the beer. But Dustin, man, you're going to start in the P number 6. Good night here at South Boston. We wish you the best of luck here as we know you're going to head to the grid.
All right, thank you.
All right, Dustin Shepard roll off P number 8, Kelly, and that will do it for the J&D Farms Top 8 redraw presented by J&D Farms, and we thank J&D Farms for being our redraw sponsor of the season. Just like that, it is time to go racing here tonight at the South Boston Speedway. As the field starts to populate, this will be your starting lineup in the top 8. Gary Eschen will roll off on the pole outside of him. Car number 21 of Jeff Bergner. Travis Hoefler, the rookie, will roll off P number 3. Scott Austin in the number 5 will roll 4th. Your 5th starter will be Dante Curtis in the 03, and outside of him the Zoofam Garage. Car number 89, this is Dustin Shepard. The on-time number 91 of Adam Gable will roll off P7. And your fast time and new track record holder here tonight, Brandon Elvis, will roll off in P number 8. Rob Donitzen will roll off 9th, and outside of him, the driver out of Huntley, Illinois, will be the car number 2. It is Bryan Hacker. Braiden Campbell and Austin Williams will round out row number 12.
Then we're going to see Ryan Johnson scheduled to start in 13th. He'll be moved to the back of the field due to winning last week's race. Rodney Huntoon rolls off in 14th. 15th fastest qualifier. That's going to be the 90 of Dylan Connor. Josh Cole rolls off in 16th. 17th to Chad Macleod. Scott Negus is going to be 18th. 19th sees Dan Janjanin. Lewis Flowers rolls off in 20th. Brian Troyer 21st. Travis Hoefler in 22nd. So he'll be back there alongside that 38 machine of Ryan Johnson.
That he will, and that will do it. Ryan Johnson back there, like you just said, Kelly. Odegaard scheduled to make there, but having some issues with the number 60. Maybe he'll be able to make it out here a little bit later. But right now, the SOBO Shootout 125 is about to go green flag racing as the field will come off of turn number 4. The iRacing.com pace truck pulls into the infield, and the Sandi Paws Street Stock Series is green, and we're underway.
A good start on the outside for Jeff Bergner, but he's not going to quite be able to carry the speed that the 23 was on the inside, but they're going to be even up going into turn 3. Cars stacked up all across the field. Looked like Adam Gable got a little bit loose towards the back there on the inside lane. Coming across the line for the first time, it is going to be Gary Eschen by the blink of an eye, but Jeff Bergner charging back on the outside down the back straightaway.
Yeah, Bergner able to roll that chrome can around the outside of the racetrack. A little bit free off of turn number 4. This is why we love South Boston. We're going to have 2, maybe even 3 lanes of racing here tonight as the field still stacked up 2 by 2 as they work into turn number 3. Scott Austin trying to get around the 45 of Sukup as the car behind him, the 89 of Dustin Shepard. Shepard trying to come there, but our first yellow flag comes out as the 00 of Rob Donitzen has gone around, and that is our first mad plowing yellow flag of the evening. And it comes out for the 00 here tonight. And Mad Plowing, our caution flag sponsor, is your go-to landscaping company in Oregon, Wisconsin area, specializing in snow removal during those winter months that are coming fastly, and mowing services all summer long. Whether it's clearing your driveway or keeping your lawn pristine, they've got you covered. Give them a call today at 608-217-3528 for all your landscaping needs. And Donitzen going around here, Kelly. And let's take a look here and see if we can figure out what happened. He was racing underneath the 85 of Williams. He just got down on that apron, upset the car, and lost it all on his own.
Yeah, just a single car spin here for the 00 and some unfortunate damage early on for him. He has completely ripped the front of that car off. So getting some good airflow now into the engine. You won't have to worry about any overheating for now, but that may kind of cause a little more drag on that 00 car if he doesn't come down and get a little tape job done on that front end.
Yeah, we're coming into the Choose Cone presented by Mad Plowing, I think, or maybe next time by Kelly. They'll do that. Looks like they're all single file. It's our drone high above the racetrack. You can see that. You just see how narrow these straightaways are. So to be a single car incident with Donitzen really about mid-pack, getting sideways and spinning, way really lucky just to have a single car incident, which is really unheard of here at South Boston.
Yeah, it's also going to make the choose cone interesting because it is basically a single lane for the bottom side, and if you try to dive down there at the last moment and kind of overshoot a little bit, you can easily put the car into the inside wall. So drivers are going to have to be a bit cautious. They can't really play games at the choose cone here tonight.
No, they definitely cannot as the field rolls by. Everyone trying to figure out which position they want to be in as the field will roll there. Gary Eschen, your race leader, though. And already 8 laps in.
Yeah, we'll get one more lap around the field, around the track here for this field, and we'll get back to green flag racing. So positions haven't really shaken up all that much. We have seen, though, Bryan Hacker has already charged up 4 spots. He's got himself into the top 10, looking to get himself into the top 5.
Hacker looking to get back to victory lane, but look at the fast cars behind him as they got them all stacked up 2 by 2. Gary Eschen, your race leader, will fire first into that Sandi Paws rescue restart zone, and we are back underway.
Yeah, Eschen getting a good start. Jeff Bergener able to get to the bottom side as soon as he crossed that start-finish line, so he's got himself some clear track. We've got Scott Austin stuck on the outside of Travis Hoefler, and his teammate right behind him, Bryan Hacker, looking for a way through. He's going to get ahead of Dustin Shepard and drop himself down to that bottom side, and that's going to leave Scott Austin on the outside all by himself. The next driver on trying the outside lane, that's the 0-3 of Dante Curtis. He's hanging on the outside around Brandon Elvis.
Is Scott Austin able to roll that outside pretty good in 3 and 4? Draws back even with the 45 of SOCUP as they are still battling it out 2 by 2. Is Bryan Hacker that time a little bit of contact off of turn number 4. And you really keep that car pinched down on the inside. That outside will prevail. In a long green flag run as the track gets hot and slick, these drivers will be searching all over the South Boston Raceway to find that grip and make some speedway. But it looks like Scott Austin is able to get by. Hasn't quite cleared SOCUP, though. SOCUP pedals back to the inside.
Yeah, SOCUP looks to be hanging on with a little bit of difficulty here as it is quite slick for these cars. Finally, Scott Austin is going to get clear. We heard before the race a few of drivers mentioning that they want to try to save that right rear tire. That means these guys are experiencing a loose race car, and it is getting worse as a long run happens. So we'll have to see who's going to be able to hang on the best here tonight as that 45 is under fire once again. Bryan Hacker taking a peek that time, does not quite get there. Dustin Shepard, he's all over the back end of Brandon Elvis. Elvis, our fastest qualifier of the evening, but had to start in 8th place from the redraw. He's got himself up to 6th.
Yeah, he got himself up to 6th there as he just worked around the 89 of Shepard, and he is the track record holder after tonight with pretty much the whole entire field breaking the track record and qualifying for the most part. Is the old track record is now Bryan Hacker gets up underneath Travis SOCUP. SOCUP to the outside. Here comes Hacker down low as our yellow flag will fly once again. And looks to be the 2 of Dan Janjanin, who is parked sideways in the middle of the racetrack. And let's see what happened to Dan. Tough break for the number 2. Was working the outside there. Travis Hoefler, just got up off the corner. Hoefler got tight and up into the left rear as the 2 was coming down, it looked like. Kelly, let's see if we can get a better view of this up off the turn number 4. See Janjana way up high and just met at that corner exit, which is very common here at South Boston.
Yeah, once again, just a couple cars involved that time. It was a little bit further back in the field, so when that number 2 car got turned around, did not collect anyone else. So it has been some isolated incidents here tonight, and as you mentioned, that's pretty rare at South Boston with basically these narrow corridors on the straights.
So another single car, well, 2 cars involved with that one, but could have been much worse as Gary Eschen has led the first 20 laps here, Kelly, is sport, and usually see Gary out there with the pink and black cars. Had some bad luck this year, changes it up, has that blue car with the Autoland on there, the Jordan on the hood. Sharp looking race car.
Yeah, there is a number of sharp-looking cars throughout this entire field, though I think we are coming to the choose cone this time. And once again, we are going to see Gary Eschen take that bottom side. And the 5 look to come down to the bottom as well, but that may have been a little late, unless I am misplacing where the cone is. Yes, I am. So he was on time. It is a different line than what I was thinking it was.
So we will go green flag next time off of turn number 4. And this is one of the things I do like the most about the NSRL is the ability to choose. It really shakes up the field. And on those tracks, Kelly, like if we're going to Oxford or one of those where the inside lane is dominant, you can gain a lot of spots by moving to the outside lane because not a lot of people will choose it.
Yeah, but here it seems like the outside might be a place where you can maybe make some moves or at least hang on for a little bit. A few of these guys are expecting that outside lane to come in a little bit later on tonight, but as we get to the green flag here, as Gary Eschen rolls off into turn 1, that time Scott Austin gets a fairly good restart, and that is going to deny Jeff Bergner that inside lane. Bergner, though, getting a great launch off the high side, and he's immediately able to slot back down to the bottom side in second place. That 45, Travis Hoefler, he is struggling on the outside, though. He's looking like his car is a little loose, trying to maintain control as he gets up to speed. Now he's got himself locked in, though, but he's side by side with Bryan Hacker. Hacker looking to gain some points, get that lead back as, a couple cars going all over the place. Looks like the 12 Huntoon up into the wall. But Huntoon able to straighten that car back out, does not bring out the caution, and somehow manages to keep that car looking fairly clean.
Can I say not a lot of damage to the GMRC Laflamme heating number 12. Able to keep it from being wadded up as Brian Troyer will work there, but it looks like could have some potential damage to the 12, Kelly, as he is off the pace. As meanwhile, up front, Gary Eschen still leads as we watch the battle. Now with Dustin Shepard trying to fill the hole underneath the 4 of Elvis. Elvis quickly to the 5th spot, trying to bring Shepard and Curtis along with him.
Yeah, Sukup not having any luck on that high side here as he is struggling. He's moved back already 2 spots since the drop of the green flag. That time surging way ahead in the corner, but then getting loose on the exit, and that's going to cost him the position as Dustin Shepard lunges forward. And now coming off of turn 4, he is going to get himself cleared of that 45 car. So move Dustin Shepard up into 6th and still just 1 spot away from getting himself into the top 5. But it is going to be a tough task. He has got a number of fast drivers in front of him.
And right now, maybe it's time to just kind of ride it out and see what happens as we look a little bit deeper in the field. The 91 of Adam Gable has a battle brewing behind him. Is the 09 of Cole working the outside around Scott Negus and that Ford working the bottom side. And Donitzen with a missing front bumper cap, Kelly. He's starting to make his way back through the field. Donitzen up to the number 15 spot, as you can see him here as we look out the back side of Adam Gable.
Yeah, we have to keep an eye as Gable has got 2 cars there behind him with Josh Cole and Scott Negus battling it out side by side. Just in front of him, Braiden Campbell lost out the spot to Dylan Connor. Connor is continuing his climb up towards the front of the field. He made a mistake in qualifying, had to start way back in 15th, and now he has found his way up into the top 10, but still a ways to go in order to get himself into those podium positions that he covets so much.
Oh boy, and we were just on there. Chad Macleod had a moment down the front stretch, almost collected the last week's winner, the 38 of Ryan Johnson. Johnson had to start in the 22nd spot, has only made it up to the 16th spot so far here just early on in this race. 90 laps to go. Plenty of time for him to get there, but it is a tough road to hoe here at the South Boston Speedway. Is track is really hard to pass on unless you get physical.
Yeah, a few drivers, though, have been able to make those passes work, but looking towards the front of the field, Scott Austin has been applying pressure to Jeff Bergener, has not been able to find a way to get himself through and past that 21 car, and it's creating a bit of a cork here as the 21 is holding up the 5, the 2, and the 4. And then just behind them, Dustin Shepard is trying to hold off Dante Curtis and keep himself in the hunt for a possible top 5 as he gets a little bit into the wall coming off of turn 4 that time.
Hey, Gary Eschen with about a car length advantage, and then it is on there. Oh, trouble right in front of your race leader. Brian Troyer was trying to get the pit road. Here comes Scott Austin to the inside. Austin's going to try to make something happen as he will go. They got to wonder, did that hurt the front end of the 23 of Gary Eschen? Will there be heating issues as that front end is all crumpled up now as Troyer was trying to get the pit road?
Yeah, I did not see the field coming, I guess, as he tried to get down in front of the Gary Eschen. And yeah, Eschen does have some damage on the front end. And that created quite a bit of a shuffle that has moved the 21 of Bergener out into that outside line. It's allowed Scott Austin to move into second and Hacker into third. As Hacker says not quite clear Jeff Bergener, and Brandon Elvis is trying to follow him through here and get past that 21 machine. We're going to have to keep an eye on Gary Eschen, see if that damage is going to affect him. At the moment, he's still maintaining a good pace, but we'll have to see if that maybe is going to cost him later on.
We know how temperamental the front end of these street stocks are, though, so that could cause some overheating issues here tonight at the SOBO Shootout 125. And it looks like Troyer was having issues. Kelly got into the wall, had to come down for some repairs, and maybe did not have control of that car, but a tough break right there in front of the race leaders, and that could have been way bigger than it was, as Bergener still charges back on the outside, as he's really working that outside very well right now.
Yeah, the outside lane might be coming in here as Jeff Bergener is actually getting ahead of Bryan Hacker. He was ahead at the line last time, and then down the back straightaway, he was pretty much 3/4 of the way clear. So that 21 car is finding some speed on the high side, and maybe we'll see if any other drivers are going to follow him up there. Once again, on the back straight, nearly gets himself clear before turn 3.
Hacker able to drive in a little bit there, but Bergener going to get off the corner better. The Elvis is watching this. Now Dante Curtis as well. Everyone kind of going to school at this point of the race, trying to figure out which way to go, which way is going to make you go forward, as they all work off of turn number 4 and down the front stretch. As it is Gary Eschen leading it, but he is now feeling the pressure from the finish line remodeling car of Scott Austin. And Austin has been one of those drivers that came in here third in points, has had a nice start to the season, but the qualifying has not been there tonight. Can he put a whole night together?
Yeah, he is trying for it. He is getting closer and closer to Gary Eschen. He's now pretty much right on top of the bumper of that 23 machine, but as we've seen, it is a tough track to pass at here tonight at South Boston. So we'll see if the 5 of Scott Austin can figure out a way to get around that 23. And there it is. Bit of a mistake from the 23 of Eschen. Bit of a wobble off of turn 4. That's going to allow Scott Austin to get to the inside. But we saw the 21 defend on the outside earlier. Let's see if Gary Eschen can do the same, or if his damage is going to hold them back as they get even off of turn 4 at the line. I think it's going to be the 23 by a hair. And yes, it is. So that time it's still a lap led for Gary Eschen.
Yeah, Eschen led it that time off the corner number 4. Austin draws even through turns 3 and 4 and off the corner. Austin will be your first new leader at lap 51. Scott Austin takes the lead. Jeff Bergener quickly in the number 2 spot. Bryan Hacker under attack now with the number 4 car of Elvis. Now Eschen slots back down. Got to wonder, is that car starting to overheat, Kelly? Is the time... The 23 times are starting to fall off a little bit faster than everyone else's.
Yeah, he looked like he was struggling for grip on the outside there and just wanted to get himself back down to the bottom as soon as he could, as it seems like that 23 really is dealing with some handling issues. So I don't know if that's from the damage or if he has just overheated his tires a little bit. As just behind them is still a battle there for 4th place. Hacker and Elvis still side by side coming through turns 3 and 4. Another battle that has been going on for a few laps. That is Austin Williams and the 89 of Dustin Shepard, but looks like Williams is finally getting himself through.
Yeah, Elvis, as we're on board with him, looking out the right side door to see how tight the racing actually is here at the South Boston Speedway. This is a good one. Dante Curtis right there behind them, trying to figure out which lane to go with, which one's going to move forward. Right now, Elvis has it by a quarter of a car, as this is the battle for the 4th spot as they all work off turn number 2. And it's been very impressive how they've been able to race 2 by 2, Kelly. These cars get tight and those corner exits get really, really narrow. They have not seen some big action right now. Is Dante Curtis now looking to take a look underneath the number 2 of Bryan Hacker.
Yeah, we are getting close to the halfway point of this race, and I'm sure there's a few drivers hoping for a caution near that midway point so they can come down and put some fresh rubber on the cars, because these things look like they are struggling for any sort of grip here on this racing surface. And these drivers just have to be considering themselves lucky that we are racing here in the dead of night where the track is nice and cool, giving them as much grip as possible, because if they were racing in the middle of the day, these tires would probably be melting off these cars.
Absolutely, and when you see the pilot groove all the way up to the outside wall, as we watch Dustin Shepard and Austin Williams. Williams having a nice run up 5 spots, trying to get around the Zoofab Garage 89 as the 90 of Dylan Connor trying to move up. And right now Connor is our unofficial hard charge presented by RC2 Graphic Solutions. Is the race word to end right now as we close in on the halfway point of this one. Is SoCup, though, starting to make his way back towards the front. Kelly starting inside the top 8, running 10th right now and applying pressure to these 3 drivers.
Oh, big spin in the corner, and drivers having to scramble all over the place. Jeff Bergener facing the wrong direction as we had an incident right at the front of the field involving all of our leaders here. I think Scott Austin has managed to get away, but there's going to be more damage to a few of our lead cars here. The 21 involved. We've got also Dante Curtis, Brandon Elvis involved. I think Gary Eschen got a piece of that as well.
Yeah, we'll have to take and dissect what happened here as we'll look and see. Watch it from our blimp camera as Jeff Bergener was up, putting pressure to Scott Austin. Scott got turned sideways and Bergener let off to let Scott correct it. And Dante Curtis and Elvis nowhere to go. And the field doing a good job, but Elvis and Gable make contact off of the corner. Let's watch this back one more time as we'll go on board with Dante Curtis. And what a masterful save by Scott. The 0-3, very minimum damage. Kelly just slid to the inside to hold on to it.
Yeah, and while this was going on, we have got pit stops here. The entire field has come down pit road, got some fresh tires on, topped up their fuel to make it to the end, and it has shuffled up the running order a little bit. We've now got Scott Austin, Bryan Hacker, Dustin Shepard, Dylan Connor, Travis Sukup as your top 5. As Gary Eschen, I assume, took a little bit of a longer stop to repair a little bit of damage along with a few other drivers. So he has moved himself back into 10th.
You wonder just to make sure it gets that damage maybe pulled out, open up a little bit of air on that 23. Looks like they got some of that damage fixed. Quick work by the Eschen crew. But Scott Austin, your race leader over Bryan Hacker currently, as the mad plowing yellow flag has flown for the 3rd time. Just at the halfway point, as Scott Austin will move to the inside as it is time to choose. And the top 2 cars goes to the inside. Dustin Shepard going to move to the outside of the front row on this choose, presented by Mad Plowing.
Yeah, but Bryan Hacker is going to have an advantage. He's going to be behind his teammate, and Scott Austin will likely let him know when he's firing. So that'll likely allow Hacker to get to the inside of Dustin Shepard. It is very difficult to start on that outside lane, especially if you are someone like myself that only has a single screen and you're basically mashing your look left button to take quick glances to see when that leader fires. So we'll see if Dustin Shepard is going to be able to get a good restart and if he can handle or hang on that outside line as they got the tires up to temperature.
We will have to see. Right side tires for most of the calls on pit road, it seemed like. And some fuel to get to the end here. As the pace truck will go to the safe haven of pit road. Scott Austin in the Sandi Paws restart zone. Green flag is up, and we are back underway.
And just as expected, Hacker getting a fantastic start, but look at that 89 car of Shepard. He's fighting back on that high side. You can see all the cars, how squirrely they are off the corners, and caution is going to fly once again. Looks like an incident in turn 3 here involving Brian Troyer. I think it actually started earlier with Josh Cole getting turned around.
Yeah, and Adam Gable also involved. We'll take a look here on this restart. Gable on the outside as they come down the back stretch, and Gable getting turned once again on the left rear, and Donitzen hard into Cole. And it looks like Troyer had just come to a stop to trying to avoid anything, Kelly. Let's take another vantage point of this wreck off of turn number 2. Gable was on the outside of Huntoon. Cole to the inside. Cole came up the racetrack and just met the 91 in hard contact there. Donitzen hard as well. The hood up on the 00. And it's not been Rob Donitzen's night. I think he'll be happy to be leaving the South Boston Speedway.
Yeah, rough night for him, rough night for Josh Cole, as well as he's also pulled the car behind the wall. So a few drivers going to be calling it here tonight. I believe Dan J and Janin called it much earlier. Lewis Flowers as well has also pulled it off.
This track, one of those tough, I would call this the mini Talladega for short track racing, because a lot can happen in a very short period of time as our Mad Plowing Choose is underway once again in the top 2. Single file. Shepard back to the outside. And I don't know if you've noticed it or not, Kelly. Look who is running inside the top 6 right now.
Yeah, Ryan Johnson has been able to fight his way back up through the field. He's got himself into 6th. But he sees his championship rivals up ahead of him. He's got Bryan Hacker sitting in effectively 3rd place, and then Scott Austin leading it. So Johnson going to have a good run here to be able to get himself a few more positions.
And we'll have to take and get up there. Johnson is your current points leader headed in tonight, just single digits over the number 2 of Bryan Hacker. And Scott Austin came in just 11 markers behind them and is having so far a great night. We're coming to lap 74 into completion as the green flag will fly as the field rolls through the Sandi Paws restart zone once again. Green flag is up and they are back on their way, and a good start this time by Shepard. He's going to stay on that right rear quarter panel of the 5 of Austin. Austin able to clear him though as they head down to the turn number 3.
It looked like Shepard caught the wall off of turn 2. I don't know if that damaged the car at all, but it definitely slowed him down, killed a bit of that momentum. And that has allowed Bryan Hacker to get a nose ahead here, coming back through 1 and 2 for the 2nd time after the restart. Dylan Connor, another driver who has been fighting his way up as they go 3 wide. Sukup tries to go up the middle, and he's going to get into the left rear quarter panel of Shepard. Shepard going to be able to maintain control of the car as Sukup backs off. But that's going to cost him a little bit of speed, a little bit of ground as Dylan Connor has moved up into 3rd. Ryan Johnson now finds himself in 4th. And I think those two are basically your biggest movers of the night. One of them coming all the way from the back, one of them coming from 15th to get himself into the podium positions.
Yeah, Dylan Connor had a rough qualifying spot. And how often do we ever say that, Kelly? The 90, one of our best qualifiers on tour. And tonight just missed the setup in qualifying. Is now Bryan Hacker trying to do a crossover move in front of him as he knows he's got some hot cars to trot. In last week's winner, the 38 of Ryan Johnson, he's right there as well. Johnson had to start 22nd tonight, and through these yellow flags and pit strategy has found himself in that 4th spot as Hacker sideways off turn number 2.
Yeah, big slide for Hacker. That's going to burn up that right rear, and it's going to make things worse for him as we continue on. Oh, a little bit further back. Once again, Dustin Shepard getting pushed around as he got into the back of Elvis, had to back off a little bit, and that forced Braiden Campbell to kind of give him a bit of a push through turn 4 as we've got drivers all over the place. Scott Negus nearly getting into Gary Eschen there as Eschen continues to try to climb his way back up through the field, get himself back up to the front after taking a little bit of time in pit road under the caution flag to repair his car, as he is trying to see if he can get himself back into the top 5 at least, but he's sitting in 9th at the moment.
These cars are all getting single file right now down here on the front of this one. Scott Austin still leading it as he leads it off of turn number 4. And now Connor looking to the inside. Dylan Connor trying to make something happen. Couldn't do so. But how about SOBO, Kelly? Slid back at the start of this race. Maybe went to school that first opening stint. He is challenging last week's winner, Ryan Johnson. And impressive to see Johnson all the way from the back of the field up here. Had to miss a lot of stuff. And that car doesn't look like it even has a scratch on it.
Yeah, he has been able to make his way through the field and past any of the incidents that have happened throughout this race. And he finds himself in 4th place, but it is a tough order for him to get to the front. And he's got Dylan Connor right in front of him. We know the pace that Connor's got. And that is our top 5 in points. 4 of them are sitting right there in the top 5. And then the next one is just sitting a little bit further back in 7th. So any of these drivers will not be getting much of a points advantage here tonight, as they are only just barely ahead of their rivals unless something happens here in the last end of this race. But Johnson's trying to get out a little bit further, trying to minimize any sort of points loss he may have to these other drivers.
Right now, getting into that rhythm is right now Braiden Campbell, Dante Curtis, and Gary Eschen making battle as the 33 of Campbell working the outside upper group as the brake rotors start to glow once again on these Sandi Paws Rescue Street stocks. Travis Hoefler making his way up towards. He's up to the 12th spot. They're starting 21st. Everyone trying to keep it off the wall. And these walls, Kelly, they hurt. I've hit them a lot of times in my racing career. Been kicked out of a lot of rides because they couldn't fix the right side of the car. They kept tearing it off.
Well, just a couple laps ago, Brandon Elvis got by Travis Hoefler. Hoefler went way up the racetrack in 3 and 4. I don't know if he was just letting that 4 car by and trying to see if he could follow him up to this lead group of 4 that's kind of breaking away from the rest of the field, or if he maybe just overshot the corner. But we have got our top 4 starting to run away from the rest of these guys here as Austin, Hacker, Connor, and Johnson all try to chase each other down.
Yeah, and Elvis sporting a little bit of right front damage, got into Adam Gable on the 5th yellow flag there as he was trying to merge back on the racetrack. Gable was avoiding a car on the outside, made contact, and that's where the damage came for the driver out of Myrtle Beach in that number 4. Running in the 5th spot, Bryan Hacker, though, really applying the pressure to Scott Austin. Coming this time by, it'll be 36 laps to go.
Yeah, time is ticking down here for these drivers. These laps are not very long, and we are into the last quarter of this race effectively as the 5 car continues to lead the race. Bryan Hacker is essentially tail gunning for his teammate right now, but I think as the laps tick by, he may try to go after the 5. We've seen him make some moves against Scott Austin before. And Bryan Hacker, while wanting his teammate to get a win, he's also thinking about his championship hopes, and he sees 2 of his championship rivals right there with him.
That he does. And these 4 cars, one little slip up could cause disaster for all three of these, four of these drivers as they work up off of turn number 4 and down the front stretch. And right now, I think they're just biding their time, Kelly. You think they're in there trying to see, all right, where am I a little bit better than the car in front of me? They all look pretty even from my vantage point up here in the tower. But right now, could they be trying to save a little bit, push the driver in front of them just a little bit harder? We'll be getting into lap traffic here before the end of this race is over.
Yeah, I'm sure these drivers are trying to save their tires, see if they can maybe have something a little bit later on while the other driver is struggling with the handling in their cars. There's still a fair distance up to the first car that is a lap down. That is going to be Brian Troyer. Troyer in turn 4 right now as Scott Austin leads the field down the back straightaway. So a little bit of a gap here, but that gap is going to tick by as Troyer is running with a very damaged race car right now. And he is basically running about 0.3 a lap slower than this pack.
Yeah, Troyer, that car has seen better days in a tough break. And that's a sharp-looking race car as we watch it going around the racetrack. I was just getting ready to talk about, though, Dustin Shepard and Dante Curtis. They were raging war. Now Curtis into the 8th spot, looking for a way around the 23 of Eschen. Eschen starting to make his way back towards the front. As I say that, here comes the 03 of Curtis. He'll dive to the inside, trying to take that 7th spot away. Curtis on the move is a little bit too late as he is some 3 seconds behind our race leaders as they work around this racetrack. Bryan Hacker still trying to find a way around Scott Austin. Austin trying to make that number 5 as wide as possible.
Yeah, Dante Curtis has already got about a second that he has to make up to get to Travis Hoefler before getting even a opportunity to go after this lead pack. So he's probably hoping for a caution to shake things up a little bit here. And those front 4 are practically nose to tail, especially Austin and Hacker. Those guys are pretty much pushing each other down these straightaways here. As you mentioned, it is basically like a little Talladega here for the short tracks. Not a lot of space to go. And there is going to be our next caution here, and that is what Dante Curtis is likely hoping for. Travis Hoefler around on the back straightaway.
Hoefler around, able to get pointed in the right direction. Everybody's going to be able to take a deep breath now. And let's see what happened to Travis. Here, bring us underneath our 5th yellow flag of the evening. He was racing there with the 85 of Williams and then the 55. Looks like he just got loose and Williams into the left rear quarter panel and a nice easy spin down the back stretch, and some takers on pit road right now.
Yeah, including Bryan Hacker. Hacker, Bergener, Gable, Huntoon all coming down. Now looks like Negus, Macleod is also coming down. So a few drivers here electing to try to take tires. And I don't know if that's really the call for Hacker. I mean, he's only in 11th, or I guess now he's being scored in 10th. But it's tough to pass. But he'll have 40 lap fresher tires.
40 lap fresher tires, maybe the outside. It all depends on how the choose happens here. The Mad Plowing choose cone here tonight. Remember, it's never too early to start thinking about those winter months coming along. Give them a call today, 608-217-3528, to schedule all of your plowing needs as the field is double up, single file, and through the choose cone. And Brian's going to choose that outside, Kelly. So, interesting play call there. Maybe not enough fuel in the 2 car during that first stint. Hard to tell, but we will find out what's going to happen here. Scott Austin out front. Now it's going to have Dylan Connor to the outside. Ryan Johnson third. Brandon, I don't know why I keep wanting to call him Travis. Brandon Elvis in 4th, and Dante Curtis rounding out your top 5.
Yeah, Hacker looks to have a similar pit stop time than he did previously, so he may have, I believe he took tires, so we'll see if that 2 car can charge through the field. But Scott Austin going to lead them down to the Sandi Paws restart zone. And we're going to get the last bit of this race underway here as Dylan Connor gets a fantastic start on that outside. Pretty much timed that jump perfectly. And he is going to be even through with Scott Austin coming out of turn 2. He's actually going to nose ahead. Can Dylan Connor make the move, get the race lead here towards the closing stages of this race? Side by side off of turn 4. A little bit of door banging between these two drivers. That time at the line, you could barely tell a gap between those two drivers as everyone is scrambling for position.
Yeah, still scrambling and like scrambled eggs out there off of turn number 4. Austin with the nose. Out front is Connor trying to get that race lead away. Everyone's still stacked up 2 by 2. Here comes Elvis. He's working the outside around Johnson. Elvis trying to make it into tonight's post-race show. That time a little bit of a moment there. Connor at the line's going to lead it with 12 laps to go.
Yeah, but just leading the line for 1 lap is one thing. He's got to finish the move, get the pass completed, but he cannot quite get clear that time. Scott Austin surging ahead on the inside. That 90, though, having a good amount of speed on the outside. That time it'll be Scott Austin at the line, but .002 says timing and scoring. Just behind them, Brandon Elvis gets a great run, and he actually gets clear of the 38 of Johnson. Johnson trying to fight back, trying to get himself back to the inside of that 4, but he's going to watch his mirrors. That looks like the 03 of Dante Curtis is trying to get past that 45 of Sukup and continue charging towards the top 5.
The battle for the race lead is a good one. More contact off turn before. Austin sideways. Connor into the outside wall. Here comes Brandon Elvis. Elvis trying to figure out, all right, which one of you are going to make the mistake that's going to allow me to victory lane here tonight. Scott Austin going to get in front of the 90 for the time being. Oh, down low. Connor sideways into the wall, up across the racetrack. And I believe he's going to collect a big pile up in turn numbers 1 and 2. Big wreck down here. Oh, boy.
We are still green, though. A number of cars that spun went down onto pit road, but now we're going to get the caution as those drivers that tried to keep going have found their cars are too busted to continue, including championship leader Ryan Johnson. He is going to have to tow down to pit road here, and that is a big shakeup of our points.
And we saw that happen, and Connor trying to get down low. Let's take a look back and try to dissect this one, shall we, Kelly? It all happened off of turn number 4. Connor up the racetrack a little bit, comes down, tries to fill the hole. The 4 was there and up across the racetrack and into Johnson. The 89 car of Dustin Shepard involved, and he has heavy right front damage to him. Jeff Bergner involved. Let's go on board and see what Bergner saw as he was starting to creep back up towards the front of this one. And around he went. So a tough break as Scott Austin is still your race leader. Some heavy championship contenders in that one.
And that is going to be the end of the night for Jeff Bergner. Gary Eschen has also called it just a few laps prior. He actually got turned to the inside wall, so he was not involved in that. He was involved in a different incident even before that, but he's done for the night. Ryan Johnson, he's finished as well. So a lot of our championship contenders are out of this race. Dustin Shepard is still down on pit road. So is Dylan Connor. So this whole thing has been shaken up, and this is looking good for Scott Austin as he is still leading this race, has a good opportunity now to get himself into the points lead as we come to the choose cone. His teammate and championship contender Bryan Hacker is still out there. Bryan Hacker, remember, is on fresher tires, but he was involved in that incident, and he's got some right front damage. We'll see if that's going to affect his speed here when we come back around in a couple laps time to get back to green flag racing. I think we may be going this time.
Yeah, and Hacker had a little bit of damage as they're into the Sandi Paws restart zone. Green flag back out, and Scott Austin on the accelerator hard. He's bringing Dante Curtis with him to underneath Brandon Elvis.
Yeah, Dante Curtis looking to get a good points haul here tonight, looking to get himself another win on the season. but he has got to get himself up to the race lead. Just a couple laps to go. White flag in the air. It's effectively a green-white checkered here on this restart. And Scott Austin continues to lead. Can he get himself around and win here at SOBO? Side by side with Brandon Elvis. Elvis trying to get there. He gets a shot from Hacker. Oh, big contact. Curtis goes around. He will cross the line, but way further back in the field. It'll be Scott Austin taking the win, followed by Brandon Elvis and Bryan Hacker rounding out your top three. Macleod and Huntoon finishes the top 5.
Oh boy, have you ever seen something like that? Let's go back and watch that lead lap. Is Scott Austin gonna bring the finish line home improvements number 5 to victory lane for the first time this season? Pulls it up here in the turn. He's gonna turn around. He's gonna do that Polish victory lap in front of a packed house here at South Boston. Oh boy, what a finish that was. Looking back here, as you see, Austin, Elvis had a run off of turn number 2, Kelly, but so did Dante Curtis. He dove to the inside. They were stacked up. Elvis with a run, got a little bit loose there off the corner, and up the racetrack went to 0-3. And Curtis, hard contact into the inside wall. Gonna wound up in the 10th spot overall as Scott Austin picks up the win as he gets settled down here on the front stretch. We are gonna make our way down as we will enter tonight's post-race show presented by Sim Racer Hubs. Pardon me. Tonight's post-race show is simracerhub.com, the place where leagues keep it organized. From schedules and rosters to points, stats, and standings, SimRacer Hub makes running a league simple so drivers can focus on racing. If you're looking to track your league the easy way, check out simracerhub.com, the official post-race show sponsor of the North-South Racing League. And just like that, Kelly, we are down here in victory lane as we will catch up. Well, I think we'll catch up with the driver of that number 5. We'll bring him in here as Scott Austin still getting unbuckled inside the finish line. Home improvements number 5. And Scott Austin climbing out with a big smile on his face. And man, you earned that one with those last restarts. Talk us through the wild and crazy race South Boston was that sees you victorious for the first time for the Sandi Paws Street Stocks.
Yeah, this one feels good. It's about time. We felt good all night, and yeah, at the end there it made it interesting for sure. Thank God we had enough tires underneath us. Couple curveballs, but glad it went our way this night.
How are you able to keep off the advances of Bryan Hacker? We know he's your teammate, but really applying pressure there. And then when you saw that wreck happen behind you, before the green-white checkered, what was your thoughts? Were you close on fuel?
No, we were good on fuel, and the tires felt pretty good underneath us, like I say. Obviously, I felt a lot better when Hacker was behind us. Know that he would take care of us as long as he's not getting too much pressure from behind. But yeah, I'm glad we were able to keep it up front there. I'm not sure what happened between those two behind us to bring out that green-white checkered, but whatever it is unfortunate. It seems like it took out a lot of good cars, but glad we were here at the end.
You're going to leave here, and this is going to tighten up that points battle a little bit even more. Came in just 11 markers back, sitting in the P3 overall. Ryan Johnson in trouble, along with a couple other drivers around you in points. At the leaving here, 5 races complete, 5 to go. I think it's safe to say that this 5 team is a championship threat.
Yeah, I don't want to get too excited or jump the gun, but we're just going to keep working hard, keep trying to put some laps in, time in, and try to get faster every week like we have been, and we'll be in a good spot at the end of the year.
Next week, we head to 5 Flags. How is 5 Flags for this team?
It's one of my favorite tracks. It's fast. It's line sensitive more than you think. Everybody's seen the snowball, so everybody thinks they're a hero, but take your time and be there at the end is still the name of the game there, and looking forward to 5 Flags.
All right, well, you're going to have to start. Tal, shotgun at the back of the field next week with the shotgun rule, but who makes it all possible on this 5 car to be parked here in Victory Lane for the first time in 2025?
Yeah, Finish Line, Home Improvements, Awesome Designs, Bryan Hacker, and everybody else, Rodney Huntoon, and all the guys that we hang out with Monday nights. You guys for putting on a great broadcast, all the admins for putting on a good league to be a part of, and all the fellow drivers too for racing clean, racing hard. It's enjoyable for me.
Well, congratulations, Scott. Go enjoy this one. Don't celebrate too hard, but we'll see you next week down at the Five Flags Speedway.
Thanks, you guys. We'll see you.
Scott Austin picking up the first win, Kelly, and did it in kind of dominating fashion, leading the last half of this race. Going to come out of here with his first win of 2025 and really shake up the point standings a little bit more as you're catching up with one of the fastest drivers here at South Boston, Brandon Elvis.
Here now with Brandon Elvis. Brandon, very close quarters here at South Boston, and looks like these cars were a handful to drive. So what was it like out there on the racetrack for you?
Yeah, I mean, you pretty much nailed it there. They're pretty much a handful, but I mean, there was a lot of hard racing. I didn't see a whole lot of an intentional wrecking and stuff like that. You know what I mean? It was just hard racing for the most part. I hate it for my buddy Dylan. He was kind of trying to force his way down to the bottom, and I was there, and I tried checking up to kind of give him a lane there to let him get down. It was just too little too late, and it sent him down into one there, and I hate it for him. But yeah, just getting all we could get out of it, that's for sure.
Well, we effectively had a green-white checker to end the night here, and coming to that last restart, what was going through your head?
Just hang on. Maybe get a good start, which I didn't. Kind of laid back a little too far. These restarts are hard to judge in this league with not going in the box, whereas go whenever the pace car pulls off the racetrack. It's a lot harder to judge. So I got to get better at that myself. But no, just my car was destroyed, and I came in after that wreck when the leaders right in front of us there. I had like a minute and a half of damage, 2 minutes of damage, and didn't really get any of it fixed, and just kind of went back out there, and it was decent for a few laps. So I said, well, we'll just hang on, see what we can salvage here, and was able to get a second, which was better than I thought. I thought maybe 6th or 7th, probably the best I could do.
Well, next week we're going to be heading down to the Five Flags Speedway. What are you expecting out of that track?
A lot of the same thing. This real slick, probably. This conservative right rear tire, really. I mean, just try to be there at the end. I don't think it'll be as tight of quarter of racing as we saw tonight, but real momentum based racetrack, and it's going to be a battle who can roll to center to better and lay the power down on an exit, really.
Well, Brandon, congratulations for your second place finish here tonight, but we're going to give you the floor. Who would you like to thank for your run that you had tonight?
Yeah, for sure. Thanks to you guys for putting the broadcast on, and the admin team for this league. They do a phenomenal job. Give them a lot of props and commend them highly. They do a really good job here. Coastal Performance, Burials Performance, Chestnut Hill Restaurant. My teammates watching, also Elvis Coleman Racing. My wife for letting me do this 3 or 4 nights a week. Mom, Dad, I know they're watching as well. And just shout out to everybody that puts the steel on.
All right, well, congratulations once again, Brandon, and thanks for coming out and talking to us. Hopefully we'll be hearing from you next week out down at Five Flags.
Yeah, man, we gotta step up on that podium one more step.
All right, well, that was Brandon Elvis, our second place finisher here tonight. Even with a damaged race car, he was able to bring that car home.
Absolutely, and now we're catching up with our third and final driver here on the post-race show, and unofficially might have taken over the points lead once again with a third place finish. Man, that last lap was hairy, but your whole race up and down, a great battle up front with your teammate Scott Austin. Overall, a nice night out here with this brand new black and white paint scheme. It's sharp looking car, Brian.
Yeah, thanks. That was white knuckles. It was I feel like we've run, I don't know how many of these races this year, and half the races the car feels really in the track, and the other half the races the car is just skating all over the place, and it was skating all over the place tonight. So it was just holding on for dear life. And I wanted to be on the offense there at the end. So when that yellow came out and we got that restart with 15 to go and pitted for tires, I thought, all right, this is, it's either going to work really well or it's going to work really poorly. And yeah, everybody just stayed 2 by 2 by 2 because inside and outside were pretty even. And it ended up not, I don't know, I guess at the end of the day it was an okay call. I don't think it was the right call because we really had to be on the offensive to try to get back up there. But it was something. It was a really interesting race, and I guess at the end of the day we're just kind of glad we survived it.
Yeah, that was a close call there when the issue up front there. You got tagged from behind. Was the car hurt at all? We see a little bit of right front damage on this car as we're standing down here on the podium spots. Did that affect any of the handles at the end of this one?
No, the car was fast. I mean, it was obvious that I had better tires just because I could rotate the center of the corner so much better, but I just had nowhere to go, which was, too bad. Had we gotten single filed out there on one of those restarts, I think I could have picked a bunch of guys off, but it didn't work out that way, and I should have known that it wasn't going to work out that way. It hadn't been like that all race. So no, the car was still driving fine at the end. It was actually really good at the end, probably because of the fresh tires, but yeah, it got hairy there a few times this race, and just I guess glad to survive
And make it here into the simracerhub.com post-race show once again. And next week, though, we go to, I think it's still one of your least favorite tracks, is Five Flags next week. I know, at least in the late model stock days, you would complain you didn't really know how to get around there. Is that still the case?
Not so much. I've figured some things out there. It's still not my best track, but it's certainly not, back a couple of years ago, I was out to lunch whenever we went to Five Flags, and some things have clicked a little bit. So we'll see how it goes. That track is usually a tire chewer as well, so I would imagine that these cars are going to be sliding all over the place. So we'll have to conserve. We'll have to do better than we did tonight in conserving that first run. I beat up the right rear and was just holding on, and when that caution came out about halfway and everybody pitted, I knew that I wasn't going to be able to run like that. So we're going to have that mentality from the jump next week. We'll see how it goes, but it's going to make for an interesting season this season. Really took a pretty big hit in points last week, so I guess we gained some of that stuff back tonight, but now we have a razor thin margin to work with, so we'll just have to be smart.
Yeah, the next 5 races tonight, halfway point, you got Five Flags, Hickory, New Smyrna, Lanier, and then we end at the Nashville Fairgrounds, and all an array of weird, clicky little racetracks that have their own nuances. So it's going to be a very tough rest of the season for you guys here with the Sandi Paws Rescue Street Stock Series, but we wish you the best of luck. Hopefully we'll be talking to you a little bit more this season on, but before we let you go, we'll roll the red carpet out and let you thank those that make it all possible.
Yeah, I'd like to, first and foremost, big win for Scott tonight. That one was well earned. He drove to the front of the field and took the lead and never let it go. So big win for him. I know that he's excited, and he should be. He was the class of the field tonight. So outside of that, Austin Designs, I think the car that he put together for us this week looks pretty good. Something a little different. I usually like the flashy colors, and this season we've kind of gone away from that, but I'm liking it. And I never put chrome wheels on the car, and we've got chrome wheels on the car this week. So who knows? I haven't had I haven't felt like my normal self this season, so maybe we'll have to go back to a flashy car, but at the end of the day, these things look good too. But Boulder Beer Bar, Carbon Junction, Aberdeen Lodge, and thanks to you guys for coming out and doing this. It was a wild one tonight.
Yeah, and I just want to apologize that you didn't get to talk to Kelly.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I feel like you guys should divvy up interviews based on, where I'm at in the redraw, which tonight I was not, or where I finished in the race. So if you guys could kindly do that, it'd be great. I'm getting kind of sick of talking to you.
All right, sounds good. Bryan, congratulations on a top 3 run here tonight. We hope to see you next week at the Five Flag Speedway.
Thanks, guys.
Bryan Hacker going to finish in spot number 3, Kelly, and that'll do it for our SimRacerHub.com post-race show as we come back here tonight as this one winds up here. Final thoughts as to your final results from tonight's race are shown up here on the screen. See where your favorite driver finished. Some takeaways as we leave South Boston.
Some real great tight racing here tonight, and it was really shaken up by an unfortunate incident towards the end that caught a number of our leaders out, but few drivers were able to dice their way through and able to get themselves some decent finishing positions. Another big thing to consider is after this week, the drop week will be calculated in our points, so we'll be coming in next week with a completely different point standings here, so we will see who will be leading after this, and a few drivers will probably likely drop this one, so they may not have a bad standing after this.
Yeah, that's a good point you make there. So I mean, really Bryan and Ryan about dropping roughly the same amount of points for a bad race, like last week's the post-race penalty, and then this week Ryan getting involved with that wreck there, just not of his own doing, just the wrong spot, wrong time situation. So it'll be interesting how those points shake out. Be interesting to see as we go to another one of my favorite racetracks, the Five Flag Speedway, next Monday night, October 13th. We will be there, and we hope you will join us here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. But we thank you all for being a part of tonight's race here tonight, as we like to thank those that make it all possible for the North-South Racing League Street Stock Series presented by Sandi Paws Rescue, RC2 Promotions and Graphics, Wizards Designs, Austin's Designs, Zoofab Garage, J&G Hardwood Flooring, Mad Plowing, and of course Al's Speed Shop is the proud sponsor of our qualifying this season. And Kelly, that'll do it for us from SOBO. Safe travels home. We hope to see you down in the Gulf next week as we head to Five Flag Speedway, which will be another great night of racing. 125 laps on tap. But until next Monday, everybody, we hope to see you in Turn 3. Good night.